Latino voters say affordability and the state of the economy are their top concerns ahead of next year's midterm elections. That's according to a new poll from Unido's bipartisan poll of Hispanic voters. Hispanic voters make up the country's second largest voting demographic. 53% of those surveyed listed cost of living and inflation as their top concern. That's followed by 35% listing jobs in the economy. The same survey also found 65% of Latino voters say the president and congressional Republicans are not doing enough to improve the economy. More than one-third say the economy is worse than it was a year ago, while just 14% believe it has improved. The Latino vote is expected to be very influential in the race for mayor of New York City. Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani is hoping to make inroads among voters who swung to President Trump in 2024. Meanwhile, former Governor Andrew Cuomo hopes to make a political comeback as an independent by counting on a coalition of voters opposed to Mamdani. CBS News political reporter Hunter Woodall is live in Washington with the latest. So, Hunter, former President Obama praised Mamdani's campaign, offered to be a sounding board for him, but stopped short of endorsing him. What's the significance of that?
It really does reflect some of the bizarre and ongoing tensions within the Democratic Party, Lindsay. You've seen Democratic leaders, some in New York, get behind Mamdani, talk about him, endorse him, celebrate him. You've still seen others, though, who've been far more reluctant to do so. Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Mamdani just a day before early voting started last month. Then, obviously, Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer from New York has not endorsed Mamdani. And it really does speak to just how almost, contentious this race has become. So you have some Democrats who are actively backing former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. At the same time, you have progressive icons like Senator Bernie Sanders, like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who are vocally supporting Mamdani and really showing how much tension there is between the progressive left and the center in today's Democratic Party.
And so what do you make of Mamdani's campaign success so far as a Democratic socialist? Does it seem this could be a lasting shift in the party, or is this a one-off?
That's one of those things when you talk to lawmakers, when you talk to politicians and strategists and voters, there's always those labels that are interesting, right? In this case, obviously, Democratic Socialist does speak, some loud words to voters. But what's notable here is that when you look at the messaging that Mamdani's relied on, voters seem to be reacting to that authenticity, and that is something that Democrats really struggled with during the 2024 presidential election cycle. Now, whether or not Mamdani is able to succeed on his more progressive ideals, on those Democratic socialist ideals that you've talked about, is that open question. But at the moment, his primary victory in this New York mayoral race really was a massive shift for the Democratic Party. Whether that will actually carry over into other races and whether or not he'll be able to succeed in governing if he does win is really an open question.
Hunter Woodall, thank you. Stay with CBS News 24/7 for complete coverage of these pivotal elections tomorrow. We'll have the latest updates from key states throughout the afternoon, with special coverage beginning on the takeout at 5 p.m. Eastern. And be sure to join us for the latest results after the polls close beginning at 9 Eastern.